Melanie Closs is a theater artist, musician, and educator whose passions inspired her investment in girls' empowerment. She's the founder and executive director of the Other Side Intercultural Theater Incorporated, a cross-cultural performing arts and technology program to connect girls from underserved communities. By educating girls through performance and storytelling, the Other Side inspires self-esteem, leadership, empathy, and so much more. She has implemented the Other Side programs in multiple schools around the world, and through them is weaving sisterhood globally. You may read more about the Other Side at theothersidenyc.org.
All right, thank you, Melanie, for joining me today. I'm excited to talk about the Other Side and catch up with what the organization's been doing over the last few months. Got a few follow-up questions for you since our last interview. And I just want you to remind us what the Other Side is and how you're making a positive change in the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here again. We are, we've entered into a new season, so there's a lot of exciting updates. And just as a reminder, the Other Side is a nonprofit organization that works with girls and gender diverse youth around the world. Currently, we're working with girls in rural India and in New York City. I'm just really happy to be here to talk to all of you about what we're doing, trying to make a difference amongst this insane world that we're living in right now, between the pandemic and politics and racial justice. There's so much to take in. So, doing work that's rooted in compassion and community building, I think, is super important. So I'm happy to be here and continue to build that community.
So how has this semester been going? If you could also remind us, when does the semester start? Is it start in September, schools in the US?
So we do follow a US school calendar. Our fiscal year starts in September 1st. Although this year, of course, is a crazy year. And each school usually starts the first week of September. Hasn't really gotten started until the last week of September, I think. But there was a lot going on in New York City with schools where kids were trying to figure out, am I going? Is it virtual? 6 feet? Yeah. I go half the week and then I go out virtual half the week, and my sister's has a different program. And so everything was very confusing. So it was actually really important to us that we start our classes in the first week of September so that there is something consistent that the girls can count on. And Absolutely. Similarly, in India, their school year actually starts in April. Okay. But in April, there was no school. They had all shut down for the lockdown, and then they just reopened. They started doing online classes slowly over the summer. Not everybody has a device, so that was a really big problem. And then in the beginning of September, they started distributing, and this is this one school that we partner with in a town called Anupshahar. It's not a government school, so this isn't something that all schools in India are doing. This is just this one private, NGO. They distributed tablets to 9th, 10th, and 11th, and 12th graders, so that it's a girls' school, so that they can continue with their classes. The teachers are teaching from the school and the girls are at home using the tablets. Wow. So that's a huge initiative that makes a really big difference for these kids. But that just got started in September, so there is kind of a sense of school starting a little bit back up at this time of year. So we started with a new batch also in September. And what that means when I say we started with classes is that we have a class once a week with the group in India and once a week with the group in New York City. And we have a teacher who leads the classes, and it's all on Zoom. What they do in these classes is they explore their identity, they explore their community, what's going on in the world, how are they feeling. We talk a lot about feelings. In fact, we had a class today, and one of our girls, this is the class in India. We were talking about who inspires you in your life. We were talking about some things about your home and your family. And at the end of class, she said, I just want to say that I really love this class so much because I get to be emotional.
Oh, but that's
And I said,
great.
yeah,
You
so
create that space.
in other schools and other classes, when you're learning math and English, if you start getting emotional about your dad or something, like that's not going to support what the teacher's trying to teach you, So I think there's a sense of, that where are the places in your life where you can be emotional, where that's what we're supposed to do, besides therapy. And these girls in rural India don't have therapy. I think that this is a place where girls can just talk about their feelings, and there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of feelings to be had right now for everybody. But I think that this is that's something that we can provide for them. And we use, I don't think I said this yet, but we use theater as the central tool to explore these things. So we do games, we do script writing, we do monologuing. And there's a limit to what you can do on Zoom, but we do our best to allow the girls to express themselves and share with each other. It's something that's happening this month, which I'm very excited about, is the girls in New York and the girls in India are all going to come together on one Zoom call for a movie party.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're all going to watch a movie together on Zoom and have a discussion about it. And it'll be really fun to have them all connect with each other.
May I ask what the movie is going to be?
So it's actually, it's a 20-minute video that we found on YouTube, which is about an all-female village in Kenya. So it's like a little documentary video from YouTube. But we wanted to choose something that was centered around women. But I also like that it's a place that's not related to where these girls are from. It's a totally different country. When we told them about it today, we said it's a village that's all women, no boys allowed. They do everything themselves. The girls are like, that sounds awesome. I want to live there.
I want to live there.
So it'll be really interesting to look at that and also learn a little bit about culture in Kenya, it's a tribal culture there, and also what's similar about the way women are treated in other places, which is kind of what we're all about.
I think it's great that the school in India was able to provide the equipment for the girls to access, Zoom at home, because that's got to be really tough. I forget which article it was. I'm sure you saw this. Like, there were children that had to go to like Taco Bell and use the Wi-Fi because they didn't even have it at home. I'm sure. I mean, there's like these other types of stories, but
because it's not just the tablet, right? It's also the data, the Wi-Fi. Data means you have to buy a SIM card and you have to top it off. It runs out by the end of the day. So like all these things really add up and become a huge challenge that I think that like I take for granted sometimes, to just how much access I have. So these girls who are it's already a challenge for them to look at their parents and say, hey, I want to get an education, because otherwise there's a lot of child marriage happening in all around the world, but especially in this community. Now it has been happening for a long time, but now that the lockdown created all of these economic problems. And so the families have a girl in their house. That's one more mouth to feed. If they get her married off, then they don't have to pay for her anymore. And that means that she's basically not going to school anymore. So it's really important that we can give these girls a sense of self-worth so that they can just say like, hey, I want to go to school. I want to get an education. Okay, then they convince their parents of that. That's one step. Then the next step is, okay, now I need a device. I need data, I need whatever else there is. I need the textbooks. I need all of those things. So it's a lot.
It's really brave of them to be able to work through those challenges, because like you said, something you just take for granted here. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's incredible. Do you find that you're having similar obstacles in New York City?
Somewhat. It's slightly different challenges in New York. I think that going to school is a par for the course kind of thing for most kids. I think the bigger issue that I'm seeing is being stuck at home with potentially toxic family
Right.
situations, and just the confusion and stress of having to do online school versus and like hybrid, sometimes going in and sometimes
Right.
not, and having siblings, and people seem to have devices and data Wi-Fi that issue isn't really there, but I think there's more of just feeling like if they don't understand a subject, there isn't that kind of relationship with a teacher or even a friend in the
Mm-hmm.
classroom that they can talk to about it. And I think in the past, maybe that's another thing that got taken for granted, of like, your teacher's teaching, you could turn to the person next to you and be like, hey, what did she say? Like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
Did you get that? Or even just
Mm-hmm.
at the end of class, coming up to the teacher and saying, hey, can you explain this to me?
Right.
That I think it is really hard right now for teachers and for students. So that's another thing that the other side really gives us space for them to talk about these things, to connect with each other. Had a few students tell us problems that they're having in school, and we'll give them tips like, oh, maybe you could try making a planner, or maybe you can ask your teacher about it in this way.
Mm-hmm.
Just things that I think are lacking because of the situation right now.
Yeah, and that's really something that like I just really want to hone in on. I mean, just like learning the interpersonal skills that, unfortunately, maybe there are instances at home they just don't, or that, you know what I mean, that they learn behaviors that are, or they're seeing behaviors that are toxic, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully they don't replicate, but it's like you're gearing them towards like, okay, this is the way you ask for things, this is the way you can get the help
Right.
that you need. And most people, especially like a teacher, will take the time to help or explain, or the extra, what do they call it, like not extra credit but extra time to go over the
Yeah.
subject. Or
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think that that's hard right now for teachers, because teachers are trying to just teach online, which is, I have some friends who are teachers, and that's really hard to, you know, to manage.
mm,
And then also they're teaching in person, but it's 6 feet and it's masks and all the thing, so there's just, I think the teachers are pretty stretched in terms of
mm,
anything extra beyond just teaching what they have to teach. So I think that having spaces, and any other nonprofits that are also providing theater, dance, like all the arts nonprofits especially, are really giving these girls and kids, youth anywhere, a chance to like kind of connect and build
mm-hmm.
community and talk to each other and develop social skills. Because I don't know if that's happening in school. It might be. I'm not really sure.
Yeah,
I'm
well, no,
just
it's
kind of
definitely,
guessing.
yeah, no, it's definitely more of a struggle like now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, even in general, like the fact that
Yeah.
you have that space to
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
talk about, like you said, talk about feelings, and get things off your chest that maybe at home you wouldn't be able to. Or
Exactly.
it's different. It's a different. I don't think anybody knew how to react to the pandemic.
No.
I mean, unless you lived through the Spanish flu, which doesn't, maybe the
And
couple.
then we didn't have Zoom back then. We didn't have Facebook. Like, this is a whole new world.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think, no, and everything is so uncertain. I think that's the worst part of it all. It's
Yeah.
just like, if we knew that, okay, well, December 31st, I mean, I'm making this up. December
Yeah.
31st, we know, like, all right, this is going to be the end of it. Everything goes back to normal January 1st.
No.
Because everyone keeps saying, well, it'll be better in 2021. It's like,
Will it?
you really don't know.
Yeah. No, it's very unknown.
So segueing into 2021,
Hmm.
what are your plans for the new year? And
Yeah.
is it just going to be touch? I mean, I would hope not to hear it's just touch and go, but I mean, I feel like that's
Well, like
everybody
in a
right now.
way, it is hard to plan, but I would love to talk about 2 new programs that we're doing this semester, which will
Okay.
go into 2021.
Mhm.
In addition to the classes that we're doing, we have an opportunity. Well, this is also related. So we're going to be doing a podcast, and the podcast is going to be between one girl in New York and one girl in India, and the teacher's going to
Okay.
facilitate the discussion. So they'll
Mhm.
each write kind of like a monologue about their life, and they'll read it, and then they'll talk to each other. What are some of the things they have in common? What are some things that are different? How can they support each other? And we've done that before. We just haven't done it as formally in a while. So we're going to do that every couple of months, and it'll be published and put up on YouTube and Spotify, and people can listen to it. So that's also a nice way for anybody out there to connect with what we're doing and connect with our conversation directly with the girls. So that would be really fun. And then the other thing, this is also brand new, and I'm really excited about this one. So we're starting a student resource fund. And what that's going to be is 3 girls each semester will be applying and interviewing, and then we're going to select 3 to receive a small stipend to help them with some kind of resource that they need in order to achieve their goals. So I was just talking about this a few minutes ago, that, the other side's main mission, like the main thing that we teach in the class, is self-worth and self-love, which is the building blocks for anything else that you want to do in your life, I firmly believe. So if a girl says, I want to go to higher education, I want to go to college and not get married, she has to believe in herself first, to do that. But then there's the next piece, which is I need a smartphone. I need money so that I can take public transportation to the city so I can do my college interview. I need different clothes because the place I'm going for college is in a different climate. So I need new clothes. There's all kinds of things like that you need in order to go through to the next thing, and you might just not have the resources for it. So the other side is going to be helping out girls with those things, and we'll also help them identify what those things are that they need. And if we can just a thing for them first, that's ideal. We want to try to avoid just kind of giving them money, because we really want to make sure that they're getting something that's going to be really useful for them. So I'm thinking also about girls in New York who want to go to, let's say, an internship that will help them in something they're interested in. But it's in downtown Manhattan and they live in the Bronx and they just don't have the MetroCard fare because they're whatever the school MetroCards they're not using or something like that. So that would be something we could purchase MetroCards and give that to them.
Right. Something tangible.
So that's exciting. We're going to do that 3 students per semester, and those 3 semesters in I guess that's trimesters in our year. So there'll be 9 students who will receive that. It's a small stipend, $100 per person. So that is a pilot. We'll see how that goes. And my hope is that if it goes well and if we can grow our funding base, we can provide bigger stipends or stipends for more students.
Right.
But that's also something to think about if there's any donors out there. $100 would provide Metro cards for the year, or like a device for a girl in India, or data for a year for a girl in India. That would help that would support one girl for our student resource fund.
So when would that would start for the next trimester for that? Oh, that starts this semester.
We're going to start with interviews and applications in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
That'd be sweet. It'd be great if, like you said, if you can increase the amount. Yeah. Like I said, hopefully both ways.
Yeah. So
more and higher stipends.
We have to see how it goes and what makes sense and what the money looks like and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, in terms of COVID and plans for the future, just to answer the next part of your question, we got a lot of support in the beginning of the lockdown time. I think there was a lot of grants. There was government grants, and donors were also feeling they wanted to help. that went really well for us, and we got grants and stuff like that. And there's been kind of a dip lately. Just I think there's sort of the economic problems catching up with people a little bit. That the excitement and energy of wanting to donate and wanting to help has perhaps slowed down a little bit. This is what, as I've noticed. So we're trying to, pick that up again, as the financial problems of COVID have not gone away. They're still there, and they're still continuing, and probably will continue. So, that's also something that we're facing right now. And I think a lot of nonprofits are facing that. This is also gala season for a lot of nonprofits, and we're all trying to do virtual galas, which is a whole new world of learning how to do that. So we do have our annual gala, which is called Winterfest, and we're going to be doing that online. It's on December 3rd and 4th. We just started to sell tickets for that, and we have a whole lot of ways in which people can support that and get involved. I could talk about that, but I'll pause there.
That was actually the next question. The
Okay.
question was about Winterfest, and you have the two dates. There's two. If you go on to purchase, there's two different types of tickets available. So if you want to elaborate on that.
So the cool thing about doing a virtual event is that you can have people from all over the world join you. So what we are doing is we have a December 3rd, 6 p.m. Winterfest, which is geared for our United States audience. And also the cool thing about that, we can have people from California, people from Michigan, whatever. And then on December 4th, we have the same event at 9 a.m. and that's for people in India, which will be 7:30 p.m. because of daylight savings, 7:30 p.m. In India. So that, and I'm kind of excited because I can sell tickets in rupees. I've never done that before, so we'll see how that goes. So that's why we have two events. Really, it's to be more accessible for more people. And yeah, there's a lot of pieces to the event. We're releasing information as it slowly over time and a little bit as it comes in, but we'll have a student honoree, one of our awesome students who's been with us for a long time. She's going to speak. We'll have words from our community members, our board members and staff, and sponsors, as well as another honored guest. And we're going to also have a DJ dance party at the end of the event, which I'm really excited about, and some live music as well.
Nice. So I like that you have like the two different, and also too, like it's online, so you can have technically as many as you want, and it's online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can have. So that's kind of cool. So it also makes it, like you said, more accessible. So in a way, it's a slight silver lining. I know it's not the same. I looked through your pictures on the previous month. I mean, they looked beautiful, and I did not go, but it looked like a really cool gala, and I was like, it's like you said, you're making the best of it, and you're turning it into something that could actually be really, really awesome, especially if you said for everybody abroad that wouldn't, or like I said, even another part of the United States wouldn't be able to attend.
Even in New York, I know a lot of people who are just like, if I have to go, I live in Brooklyn. There are some people, sometimes me, if I have to go to Manhattan, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna go. Or someone who lives in New Jersey or in Staten Island.
Yeah, I know.
It's a big deal to kind of be like, okay, I'm gonna go to Manhattan on a Saturday night. I gotta get parking. I gotta put on my clothes. Whatever you have to do.
You gotta put on clothes. Yeah.
Put on clothes. I mean, for this, you really just have to put on a shirt, and that's it. And you just turn on your computer and you get your glass of wine, and you don't have to talk to people. So for some people, that's a relief. I think there's a lot of people that really like that they can support without having to make a whole night of it. On the flip side, you lose something, because there is something really magical and community centered about getting dressed up and going somewhere and seeing other people and meeting people. We're gonna lack something with but we're hoping to make it still really fun. And I want to try to do some kind of social media campaign where people can post pictures of their outfit that day, just to kind of show off their like fabulous outfit or something. So we're trying to be creative with it and have some fun with it, and at the end of the day, we just really want to focus on our mission and what we're doing, and how important it is. And I think that people do care about what we're doing, and even if they can't go to a party and get like great food and drinks, they're still going to want to support.
Speaking of, how are the other ways that we can support the other side?
Well, let me talk about a couple of different options for Winterfest. So the tickets, you can buy a ticket, the $75. You can also buy a donated ticket. So that's for someone who might not be able to afford a $75 ticket if you want to make an extra donation. You can also become a sponsor. So this is something that's for individuals, but also for businesses. So that's something we're looking for right now. If anyone out there is a part of a business or owns a business or knows somebody who works at a business, we're looking for event sponsors. And what you would get are, that we have different levels, and you get your name and logo in our website, on social media, a shout out at the event, and a certain number of tickets. And so that's a really great way to partner with us so that people can learn about your organization or your business. And we can also get creative with that. If there's for example, like a beer company, maybe there's a way that we could send everybody a beer in the mail. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun. We'll see, but that's an option. We also have a digital magazine, and that's going to be something that'll live on our website, but all of our guests will receive it. And it's going to have information about our mission and our students and our board, and what is Winterfest. But we'll also have pages where people can buy ads. So small businesses that maybe can't do the big event sponsorship levels can buy like a half-page color ad to put into the digital magazine with their logo. And that's just a great way also to promote businesses, especially if you're kind of small or a budding small business. That's a good way to get the name out there. And I think that, we also are looking for host committee members. So host committee are people who will raise $1,000 for Winterfest. So that's somebody who's kind of, cares a lot about the organization and wants to raise money for us. They can either buy tickets, they can sell tickets to their friends, they can ask people to make donations, they can sell sponsorship levels, they can sell digital magazine ads, basically all the different ways in which we're trying to fundraise. A host committee person can sell all those things. So if anyone's interested in doing any of those things that you just heard me say, you can definitely send me an email, theothersidenyc@gmail.com, and you can put that down below, along with all the links. And then, beyond Winterfest, we can always take donations. We love recurring donations because that's something we can count on every month. $30 a month supports one girl through our program. If you want to do something like that. And I think that I think that's enough to absorb. So
yes. Well, so the last time too, we discussed the different options, and I put that in the description and in the video as well, so people can access those links and go to your website as well and learn more about the organization and Winterfest and all the different ways to support. Because I think it's a great organization. It's not something you hear frequently in terms of nonprofits. It's not just you're throwing money at something and you never find out where it actually goes.
Right.
Even I know they publish reports and stuff, but I mean overall, but this is very tangible, and like you said, you're starting these types of emergency funds and funds for students to just beyond this program.
Yeah,
I think it's really important. I I think it's, it's something that's needed, I feel like, all over. Even just people don't have the space. I feel like you said we're in a lot of societies, aren't creative. We don't put any emphasis on it. Communication is, to the point, and that's not how the brain works. So I feel
Yeah, a
like
lot of times there's some cultures where I've seen this in India. If you're crying, it's like, stop it. Why are you crying?
Oh my God.
That's weak. That's the sign of weakness, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see that all the time, and I think that it's, so, sometimes it's not great to wallow in sadness, but I think that there's something really important about knowing that you can have your feelings and you can share them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we definitely are very mindful of at the other side and very, very careful about.
And the fact that, you work interculturally, all the students get to learn from another student that's abroad, and just opening your mind to what's out there. And, like you said, sometimes it makes you realize like what you have, but sometimes it makes you also have, just put you in a different mindset. I just think it's a really great organization. I'm really glad that you took the time to catch up with me today, and
Absolutely. Thank you
I
so
really
much for
really
having
wish
me.
the best for Winterfest. It's probably going to be thebomb.com.
I hope so, especially the .com part.
All right, thank you, Melanie, again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you everyone who's listening to and supporting us.